So Taylor, I know from personal experience, when my children were preparing for the 11 plus, I had a real problem motivating my children to actually want to do the extra work to go to grammar school. And of course I tried pushing, and you've got to do it, and all these types of things, and none of those things really worked. How would you recommend a parent goes about really getting that motivation into the child so they pull themselves through rather than having to be pushed through?
I think that is a key question, and I can't be definitive about it, but I can give my best advice and based on my experience. I think that to try and push children against their will, i.e. if they really don't want to do the hard work, and if they really don't want to go to a grammar school, then it can backfire, it can be counterproductive, and there can be repercussions later on in life when they throw it back in your face. You made me do this, I didn't even want to go to grammar school, and now look, I'm unhappy with it and it's all your fault. You can get some of that, so you have to be wary of that. The ideal way, in my opinion, is to actually make them aware of the choice that's in front of them, i.e. the choice of going to a grammar school or not going to a grammar school. And a good way to do that, which has worked, and parents who I've advised in the past have told me they've done this and it had some impact, is to let them visit the schools, i.e. let them visit a couple of grammar schools, let them visit a couple of non-grammar schools. Let them also see the children coming out at the end of school to see how the children conduct themselves, how they speak to one another, and so on. And that will give them some sort of an inkling that there is a real difference there. And that difference might matter to them. And that way they may become motivated for one or the other. And that would be really wonderful, because if children become motivated and they want to go to a grammar school, then that means their learning will be more effective because they're self-motivated, and it will also make things run more smoothly at home, because otherwise the children will only work when the parents make them work, or by using threats or bribes or what have you, and it can get very tiring. But if the children are self-motivated, then they'll do the work willingly for the most part. Occasionally they need a little bit of pep talk or a bit of encouragement, certainly a lot of support regardless. So that would be my advice, is to make them aware of the choice that's in front of them, the possible long-term consequences of this option versus that option, i.e. the grammar school versus the non-grammar school. They need to understand what difference it makes, because they can't work that out for themselves. They need to be shown what the difference is. And if they really don't want to put in the work to go to a grammar school, as you found out with your son, that if you try to force them to do the work, then in the long run it's likely not to work out. And even if somehow they do get to a grammar school, there is the danger that it's actually not going to be suitable for them, and then you're responsible, and they may hold that against you.
So how do you, as part of your courses, actually go about ensuring that you get the right motivation within the students, the pupils?
Well, that's a very good point. Actually, early on in the course, there's an induction lesson which gives children an overview of grammar schools, 11 plus exams, and course procedures and policies and so on. And part of that lesson is getting the children to consider why they're there. Why is it they're going to put in all this time and effort, sometimes when they're not particularly in the mood, why they're going to still do it. So we get the children to consider that and jot down their reasons for wanting to try for a grammar school. And we also get them to think about, why do they think their parents are going to all the time, the trouble and the expense of preparing them for the 11 plus exam. So we get the children to consider that at the very outset, and it helps them when they start losing their way or losing interest, what have you. We can remind them, look, this is the reason why you started out on this route.
And if you'd like to find out more about the courses available, or just have some questions about the 11 plus, then give Sir Taylor or one of his colleagues a call on the number provided through the Contact Us button.
I look forward to hearing from you and to giving your child their best chance of passing the 11 Plus exam.